Wala pa dun. Sige. Good evening. Welcome once again to another episode of our live online streaming po ng ating tax training. No? And today or tonight, our topic would be about question and answer pa rin po, pero yung sasabihin natin sa inyo, yung lecture natin would be about question and answer and about transfer pricing audit. Kasi tapos na natin yung business restructuring last time. So, para matapos na natin yung transfer pricing, yung about the transfer pricing audit naman po. At saka ibang tax updates na alam kong importante po sa atin. No? Shout out sa ating mga subscriber. Umabot na po tayo ng 3,640 plus. No? So, thank you very much. At saka sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe, please subscribe to our channel. And we promise to bring you more tax updates. No? And tonight, kahit nasabihin na natin na bibigay tayo ng discussion on transfer pricing audit, yung ating priority dito is the question and answer, no? Para bigyan naman natin ng mga kasagutan yung ating mga YouTubers dun sa mga tanong nila. No? Shout out, sino pa yung nandyan na live na? Okay, shout out Ms. Rhea Soriano, good evening. And welcome once again to another episode of our live streaming. Good evening po. At as a way of discussion, no? So, mag-umpisa na po tayo sa, mayroon pang isa naman. Wala, same pa.
Yan ma'am, si Ma'am Mary Grace Randrap, ma'am.
Okay, nandiyan na si Miss Mary Grace. Always present si Miss Mary Grace, no? Okay. Siguro mamaya-maya ako ibigay yung ating tax update, no? Ang i-remind ko lang naman ngayon yung about the inventory. No? Kasi audit na naman, no? Meron na mga letters authority ngayon na 2019. So, kailangan prepared po tayo during the tax audit. No? Kaya nga yung unang purpose natin kung bakit tayo nag-free seminar on bookkeeping, para naman yung matulungan natin yung ating mga taxpayers na magkaroon sila ng records, na yung records na yan, yun ang magsisave sa kanila during the tax audit. No? Kasi ang talagang core ng tax audit is on the documentation at nangyayari lang yan during the bookkeeping. No? So, isa sa mga source ng discrepancy pagdating na po sa tax audit ay ang ating inventory. So, dapat sa inventory pa lang compliant na po tayo. Okay? So, ano po ba yung kailangan sa inventory na i-submit natin sa BAR? So, dapat mag-submit tayo ng inventory as of the year ending ng taxable year natin. Halimbawa, calendar year tayo. So, December 31, yung inventory natin December 31, submit po natin yan sa BAR January, end of January of the following month, no? So, ano po yung content ng inventory po natin? Shout out mo, Alvin, mayroon na.
And ma'am, kakasign din lang po ni Sir Jo Marie de la Paz, ma'am. Magandang gabi po, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening din, no? Shout out tayo kay Sir Jo Marie, napakasipag na bata, always present pa, no? So balikan natin yung inventory, no? Nasabi ko, this is a rich source of discrepancy pagdating na po sa audit. So, ingat po tayo sa inventory at mag-submit po tayo ng inventory pagdating ng January. Ibig sabihin, after the year end of our taxable year. So, dapat, ano yung content, no? Ang i-discuss ko sa inyo ngayon or ibigay ko na tip sa inyo, yung 57-2015 Revenue Memorandum Circular na nandito yung mga requirements sa submit po natin ng inventory. At nandito din yung mga penalties, no? Kasi pag hindi ka nakapagbigay ng inventory, magkano yung penalty? 1,000 pesos for its information return or shall not exceed 25,000. No? So, wala kang inventory, wala kang sinubmit na report. No? Saan nanggagaling itong requirement na magbigay po tayo ng inventory? No? Section 13 po ng Revenue Regulations B-1, ito yung mother regulations natin, mother bookkeeping regulations natin, Revenue Regulations B-1, antik na po yan na regulations, pero hanggang ngayon sinusunod pa rin po yan. No? So, anong nakalagay doon? Under Section 13, Records of Inventories. No? So, yung mga tao daw na required to pay internal revenue taxes, dapat nagbibigay din sila ng book of inventories at saka nagbibigay ng record in detail, the quantity, description, unit, and total cost of every item in the stocks in trade. So, binigyan niya ng clarification ng Revenue Memorandum Circular number 57-2015 at nagbigay po ang circular na to ng mga information na dapat i-comply pag nagbigay po ng inventory. No? Halimbawa na lang sa merchandise inventory ng goods in process at saka yung finished goods. No? Ano po yung nakalagay dapat na information? Dapat nakalagay yung product inventory code, the description ng item, and then the location. No? Pati yung location, the address, code, and then the remarks. And of course, the inventory valuation method na ginamit, the unit price, the quantity in stocks, and then the unit of measurement. No? Kung kilo ba siya, gram, liters, the total weight volume, and then, pinaka-importante po, total cost. So, for BIR purposes, cost po ang valuation na ginagamit. No? Kung magkano natin binili yung ating inventory. Kasi sa accounting standards, ang inventory valuation dyan is lower of cost or market or realizable value. No? Kasi halimbawa, nasira yung inventory, nabasa. So, hindi mo na mabenta. Kaya realizable value po. But for BIR purposes, cost po ang basis. No? So, sa pagdating naman po by industry, meron ng clarification dito, itong RMC na to, number no, 57-2015, na pagka halimbawa ang magbibigay ng inventory is a real estate company, ang requirement is the project estimated revenue, the actual cost incurred, the prior year, current year, and then the total, the estimated cost to complete, total estimated project cost, and then the realized gross profit, no, for prior years, for current year, and then the total sellable units, no, available for sale, units sold current year, unsold at year end. So ano tong unsold at year end? Ito yung inventory mo at year end kasi hindi pa yan na benta. So meaning on hand pa yan na pwede mong ibenta. So ito yung i-report mo yun sa BIR. Oh? And then ito ay permado ng name and signature of authorized representative. No? And then meron pa siyang affidavit na attach. Okay? And then meron ding construction industry. So ano yung requirement naman sa construction company? The project, client, contract price, yan po yung nakalagay sa inventory na. Schedule of outstanding receivable beginning and ending, net of VAT, at saka yung VAT sa accounts receivable, and then the billings during the year, collections during the year, accounts receivable end, net of VAT, and then the VAT, total estimated project cost, the estimated profit, and then the cost incurred to date, the estimated cost to complete, realized profit in prior year, realized profit for current year, percent of completion as of 12/31, kung ano man yung ending na yan. No? So, itong percent of completion, ito na yung natapos ng construction company. So, kasi bawat industry po, peculiar or special siya, hindi pare-pareho ang inventory. That's why meron ng guide itong RMC na to para sa pag-prepare po ng ating inventory. No? And then meron siyang sworn declaration. Ano sinasabi sa sworn declaration? I, nationality of legal age designated as, name of the position and then the corporation with business address located at, do hereby certify the following, that in compliance with Section 13 of Revenue Regulations number V-1, otherwise known as the Bookkeeping Regulations, submitted herewith is the DVD. Ano to? DVD kung dati pa tong DVD, ngayon hindi na masyadong ginagamit to. No? So, USB na o hard drive. Containing the summary list, schedule of inventory, stocks in trade, materials, supplies, and other goods, and other schedules, no, for the taxable year ending. That the contents of the DVD being submitted conform to the prescribed format as required by the BIR. The summary list of inventory and or other schedule has been made in good faith, verified by us, and to the best of our knowledge and belief is true and correct, pursuant to the provisions of the NIRC. I hereby declare, under the penalties of perjury, that the foregoing attestations are true and correct. So, sino magsasign dito? The authorized representative or authorized signatory ng taxpayer. No? Name and signature of representative and then the team. Okay. So, yun po yung pinaka-importante sa inventory ngayon. Bakit natin inano itong inventory? Kasi ano na, may LA na naman yung 2019 lumabas na. So, posibleng under investigations kayo. At itong inventory na sabi ko nga, can be a rich source of deficiency sa inyo. And aside from that, meron pa rin tayong Revenue Memorandum Order 21-2020. Also about inventory din po ito, guideline on waste or obsolete na assets, kung paano po natin siya i-report at ano yung procedures ng destruction. Okay? May question na?
Question,
o sige. Shout out muna.
Shoutout ko muna ma'am, si Ma'am Amy Abulencia.
Okay.
Tapos si Sir
Amy.
Josepino Digal Relian Jr. Josepino Digal Relian Jr.
Okay.
Good evening po.
Josefino Digal Realin Jr. No? Shout out po. And then,
Question ma'am ni Ma'am Rhea Soriano, yung VAT and non-VAT po required daw po ba mag-inventory?
yes po, lahat po. Walang ano. Kung VAT ka, ano bang nature ng business mo? Kasi siguro ang hindi lang mag-inventory yung mga professional ng binibenta services at wala din silang mga supplies, wala ring dapat i-inventory. So, pwede po yon. But depending on the nature of your business, may mga business kasi na inventory intensive. Ibig sabihin, hindi oobra yung negosyo mo kung wala kang inventory. Ano to? Itong mga supermarket, mga manufacturing companies. So, hindi yan sila oobra na walang inventory. No? So, halos lahat naman po. Depende sa nature ng business nyo, meron ng inventory. Yung iba, supplies. No? Meron na?
Wala pa.
Okay.
Pa lang po.
Sige. So, tuloy lang po natin about inventory pa rin dahil sabi ko nga sa inyo, napaka-importante nito at ayusin nyo na. Kasi yung pag-report ninyo at pag nagawan kayo ng inventory analysis, paano ginagawa yung inventory analysis at makita na yung inventory nyo ay may discrepancy, this can be a rich source of deficiency tax. No? Paano kayo gumagawa ng inventory analysis? Yung purchases nyo last year, inventory nyo na ending last year, i-add nyo yung purchases ngayon, and then i-deduct nyo yung inventory and dapat yun ang magiging cost of sales nyo, no, na inventory.
Ma'am,
Okay?
may question ma'am si Sir Joe Marie de la Paz.
Okay.
Ang tanong niya po, tuwing kailan po need na magpasa ng summary list of inventory sa BIR and what are the requisites para ma-qualify to submit po?
Basta registered ka na taxpayer at may inventory ka, dapat mag-submit, no? Wala namang requisites na sinasabi, pero kung ano man yung nandun sa ITR mo at may inventory ka na dineclare doon, dapat meron kang isubmit din na um, list of inventory. And how often ito sinasubmit? Annual po, no? Pagdating na ng ending, taxable year ending, no? Hindi ito sinasubmit na quarterly ang inventory. Hindi po. Annually. Okay? So,
Yun pa lang, ma'am, ulit.
yung RMO 21-2020, ito naman po yung tungkol sa guidelines and procedure for the inspection or supervision of the destruction, disposal, determination of deductible expense pertaining to inventory of goods, assets which have been declared as waste or obsolete. So, halimbawa may inventory tayo, nasira, obsolete na, kaya hindi na mabenta, no? Waste na. I-report po natin yan sa BIR at may proseso po ang BIR paano yan gawa ng report at para ma-declare ninyo as deduction or expense doon sa inyong income statement. Spoilage, condition of goods which become waste due to damage or impairment. Deterioration, condition wherein the goods have been determined to be waste due to damage or impairment in quality caused by corrosion, weakening, or disintegration, whether by natural or other causes. O nag-deteriorate na lang talaga yung inventory. No? Lalo na kung mga biological assets and then nagkasakit, so kusa na lang siya talagang mag-deteriorate. Obsolescence, ito yung naging obsolete na. No? Useless, outdated. No? So, wala na silang value, lost their value due to advances in technology. No? Product innovation, development, or change in consumer demand. Expiration, ito karamihan sa mga foods to, no? At saka, lalo na itong mga perishable goods natin, susceptible talaga sila sa damage, expiration. Kasi pag na-expire na, yung mga gamot natin, pag na-expire na, hindi na pwedeng ibenta. No? Bawal. Expiration, condition of consumable goods that have become unfit for consumption due to termination or lapse of its predetermined useful life. Expired na nga, so hindi na pwede. No? Virtual means mode of online communication through the use of technology available to both buyer and the taxpayer in witnessing the process of destruction or disposal. So pwede palang virtual, no? Online. Third party, recommended by taxpayer, can be BIR accredited tax practitioner or external auditor, subject to BIR approval to witness the process of destruction or disposal. So pwedeng third party yung witness. Okay. So may mga policies, procedures, and guidelines po ang BIR na susundin nila pag sila ay gumawa ng destruction. Ang sa part naman ng taxpayer, i-report po sa BIR kung mayroong mga inventory na nasira na o hindi na pwede para magawan po nila ng report.
Ma'am, may question po si Ma'am Mary Grace Randolph, ma'am. Ano daw po other requirements sa inventory pag located sa PESA zone ang company?
Wala naman pong requirements, pero ang nakalagay lang sa memorandum na location, no? Nakalagay ang location kung nasaan. Pero as to the specific requirement kung sa PESA zone siya, wala naman pong sinasabi. Basta ang nakalagay lang dito sa report, ilalagay po natin kung saan nasaan, ano yung location ng inventory, kung saan siya makikita, no? Ito. Sa pagdating na sa merchandise, raw materials, goods in process or finished goods inventory, nakalagay dyan yung product inventory code item description, and then yung address, yung location ng inventory kung nasaan siya. No? The inventory valuation method, the unit price, quantity in stocks, the unit of measurement, kung kilo ba siya, grams or liters, kung liquid ba siya, and then the total weight or volume, and then the total cost. Pag sinabi po natin cost, ito yung acquisition cost kung magkano po natin binili. So yun po yung requirements ng inventory. No? Kung sa PESA registered ka, wala naman pong requirements, same lang. No? Yung pag-report ng inventory. Ang nakita ko lang kasi na issue sa PESA, minsan hindi nila nire-report yung inventory kasi owned pa daw ng parent company. No? So pagdating dito sa Pilipinas, yun yung question ko noon nung ako'y nag-audit pa. So kung wala kayong ownership ng inventory, paano na yung costing nyo? So hindi kayo manufacturing company dito sa Pilipinas. No? Pero na-register lang na manufacturing company, but in truth, hindi talaga manufacturing company. Anong tawag doon? Tolling company. Kasi nagpo-provide lang ng services. Because hindi nga ikaw yung owner ng inventory. No? Kasi kung ikaw yung owner, pwedeng manufacturing ka kasi minamanufacture mo. Yung raw materials mo, hinahalo mo yan sa direct labor at saka factory overhead to form a product. Wala ka raw materials, anong product ma-form mo? No? Kasi pagkatapos mo na ginawa yon, ang may-ari naman ng inventory mo is your parent company. So wala ka, ang gawa mo lang talaga services, no? You are just providing services to your parent company. Okay. Wala na?
Wala na.
Okay. So tuloy na tayo Ang reminder ko lang 'yon sa mga YouTubers natin yung about inventory. Kasi kung minsan kakalimutan o pinapabayaan yung inventory, parang hindi tinatali sa purchases, hindi tinatali sa sales. So pagdating po ng year-end, pagdating ng audit, pag ginawan tayo ng inventory analysis, ay makikita na findings, malaki yung deficiency na babayaran natin. Okay?
So, ma'am, nag-thank you po si Sir Josefino Relian Jr. First time daw po siya, ma'am, na maka-join sa atin.
Oo nga, you sound new.
Tapos paano
No?
daw po mga member? Replyan ko na lang po.
Oo, sige. No? You sound new. Okay. So let's now go to the Revenue Audit Memorandum Order 1-2019. Ito po yung Transfer Pricing Audit Guidelines. No? Guideline po ito ng BAR on how to conduct transfer pricing audit. No? So dito, ang i-discuss natin siguro hindi yung proseso na mag-o-audit ang BAR, yung proseso nila na internal. Yung i-discuss natin dito, yung i-require ng BAR sa atin as taxpayer. No? So, ito yung mga requirements. No? So, ano ba yung contents nitong transfer pricing guidelines? We have the audit procedure in transfer pricing, preparation for transfer pricing audit. No? And then the implementation of transfer pricing audit, how to determine the characteristic of the taxpayer's business. Kasi di ba sa comparability factors na inaral natin sa transfer pricing, pinakauna talaga yung characteristic, di ba? No? Determination ng characteristic ng taxpayer's business. Very important. Ano ba yung characteristic? Nature ng business. No? So, selection of the transfer pricing method, the application of the arm's length principle. Why? Kasi kapag hindi arm's length ang transaction, then meron tayong issue na tinatawag at posible na magkaroon tayo ng adjustment. And then magkaroon ng deficiency, income tax ang taxpayer. No? Reporting on audit on transfer pricing. No? Tsaka nandito na yung transfer pricing audit method using the transfer pricing methods po na prescribed ng OECD. Ano yung mga transfer pricing methods that we learned last time? The comparable uncontrolled price method, i-compare natin yung price ng product natin with the independent party. And then we have the resale price method, the cost plus method, the transactional net margin method, the profit split method. No? So yung profit split naman, dalawa. Contribution profit split at saka residual profit split. No? And then, process also paano i-audit yung business restructuring, the intra-group services, the intangible assets transactions, and then the cost contribution arrangement. At meron pa dito yung interest payment transactions. Ito yung sa mga financial transactions natin. And then, report making na. And then, meron silang mga request, no? Sa atin, isa-isa natin yan mamaya. Yung request for the presentation of documents. Okay. Okay. So, bakit kailangan natin intindihin po itong audit ng transfer pricing na ginagawa ng BIR? Because pag inaudit na po tayo magko-comply ng mga requirements. No? So, maganda na yung maintindihan natin in advance so that pagdating na po ng actual audit, we know what to do at kompleto na tayo ng requirements. Okay. Ito po yung sinasabi dito na yung risk na magkaroon ka ng transfer pricing audit, no? So, okay. So ito po yung factors that need to be examined pagdating na po sa transfer pricing. No? Letter A, worldwide effective tax rate and whether the taxpayer's overall tax position is such that income shifting would be beneficial from a financial accounting cash flow standpoint ng taxpayer. No? So, worldwide effective tax rate. Halimbawa, yung related parties ng isang group of companies is situated in, palagay na natin, 8 or 10 different countries in the world. Pag nag-analyze ka ng transfer pricing, dapat lahat ng tax rate ng 10 countries na yan dapat alam mo so that alam mo kung ano yung purpose niya talaga in the pricing of goods and services niya kasi makikita mo doon kung saan siya nakatipid. Especially if yung tax rate ng isang bansa hindi pare-pareho at mas mababa. So preferably doon talaga nila ilalagay yung mga companies nila na gaining o yung kumikita para naman maka-avail ng lower rate of taxes. Okay? May question? Wala pa? Okay. So tuloy lang po natin yung discussions natin on transfer pricing. Shout out po ulit sa ating mga YouTubers, no? Thank you very much pag-subscribe sa ating channel. Okay. So, ano yung mga titingnan sa transfer pricing audit daw ng examiner? Examine during the audit. Potential applicability of a tax treaty. No? Kasi pagka ang tax treaty, may tax treaty yung country natin with that other country, then we have to apply a lower tax rate. No? May lower tax rate kasi involved pagka mayroong tax treaty. Source of income and tax credit availability. So, yun din po yung titingnan ng examiner. So, ano ba yung sources ng income? Saan ba nanggagaling? At isa dyan no, sa mga findings, halimbawa yung source of income o galing sa abroad, and then the reimbursement lang ng expenses, and then dinagdagan ka lang ng markup na pagkaliit-liit. No? So, yan talagang titingnan niya ng examiner if that treatment or that transaction is arm's length. No? Na i-reimburse lang yung expenses mo, tapos markup ka lang ng 5%. So, is it arm's length? No? Ang tanong lang doon kung arm's length, if the parties to this kind of transactions are unrelated o hindi sila related parties, papayag kaya yung other party i-reimburse lang yung expenses niya and then magma-mark up lang ng 3%? Of course not. No? So in that case, hindi siya arm's length. Another thing that dapat tingnan or factor that should be examined by the examiner is the materiality of related party transaction, which may be measured from their proportion to sales or to net operating profit. So, materiality. Compute ka ngayon ng ratio at saka mag-compute ka na ngayon ng percentage, no? Kung halimbawa, bakit ang sales napakalaki pero mas malaki pa yung net operating profit, no? So bakit nagkaganon na ang proportion to sales na napakalaki na ng sales pero malaki pa rin yung operating expenses, no? Kaya yung net operating profits minsan napakaliit na o wala ng net operating profit kasi loss na. Okay? May question?
Hindi, ma'am. Shoutout ko lang si Sir Lun, ma'am.
Si?
Sir Lun Kataksosyo, ma'am.
O, halika na ha. Sumama ka na dito.
Sabi niya po, hi, Ate Elsa.
Sama ka na dito. Ang dami mong ang dami mo ng subscriber din ha. Kaya mag-live streaming ka na rin, no? Hi also to Sir James Alberto. No, believe din ako, ang dami na rin niyang subscriber. So, ito po mga ka-YouTubers natin, ito po yung mga masisipag din po na nagbablog at saka nagbibideo din po sila ng tungkol sa taxation para makatulong din po sa atin. So, subscribe din po natin yung kanilang YouTube channel, Kataksosyo at saka yung kay James Alberto. No? So, yung mga masisipag natin na mga YouTubers din. Okay. Okay. So, titingnan natin the source of income and then the tax credit availability during the transfer pricing audit. The materiality of related party transactions, which will be measured from proportion to sales or to net operating profit. Ito yung mga ratio, mga profit level indicator. Titingnan natin yan. Taxpayer transactions with related parties domiciled located in countries or economic zones with low or zero tax rates. Bakit? Kasi siyempre pag zero or low tax rates, lahat ng mga income generating na companies ng grupo, doon yun ilalagay. Why? To save payment of taxes. Kasi in that country, maliliit lang yung tax o kaya wala pa. So talagang doon mo dadalhin yung income mo para hindi siya matax. No? Or matax man, pero kakaunti lang. Okay. Ano pa yung titingnan sa audit? Related party transactions of a special nature, such as transfer of intangible assets. Ito yung sabi ko na pinaka-common talaga ngayon na mga cases na nakakarating o dinidesisyonan sa korte, no? About intangibles. Saan na tayo? Ito yung mga royalty payment, intra-group services, and interest expense. No? So ito yung mga favorite talaga na transfer pricing issues. And then performance of the taxpayers' net operating profits lower than that of the other companies in the same industry. Oh, tingnan mo ha. Yung sinasabi natin na once upon a time, may ginawa ang BIR na benchmark. No? Bakit? Kasi, titingnan na lang natin na halimbawa itong industry na to booming. So bakit ikaw ay losing, no? Nagbo-boom yung mga industries pero ikaw loss. So what happened? No? So eye opener din 'yan sa pagdating sa audit. Significance of related party transactions not included in the components of the taxpayer net operating profit, no? So, related party transactions pero hindi siya kasama sa taxpayers' net operating profit such as interest expense, gain or loss on sale of assets, and the exchange rate gain or loss. No? So, nakalimutan when sometimes it is significant. No? It materially affects the financial statement. So, pag hindi mo yan sinama, anong mangyayari doon sa financial statement mo? Your financial statement is misrepresented. No? Okay. Non-routine types of related party transactions such as business restructuring that involves or does not involve intangible assets and sales of intangible property. No? Ano yan? Non-routine na related party transactions. Bakit non-routine? Kasi hindi naman yan recurring, hindi yun pabalik-balik. No? Minsan, once in 3 years, once in 2 years. No? So, hindi siya recurring. Meron na?
Ma'am, may suggestion ma'am si Ma'am Mary Grace lang.
Okay.
Ma'am Elsa, gawa ka video, what is your typical day? Kasi parang sobrang sipag mo at walang oras na nasasayang sa iyo at parang di ka natutulog. Tapos may kaduktong ma'am. As well, tips on how to become successful.
Yes, thank you ha. Gawa tayo kasi may mga ginawa na ako, mga ano lang yun eh, mga tips sa araw-araw na buhay. Alam nyo, yung sinasabi na hindi nagsasayang ng oras, siguro ganito na lang talaga din ang gusto ko sa buhay eh. No? Na maaaring magustuhan ng iba, maaaring ding hindi. Kasi wala eh, ito lang yung gusto ko eh. Ayoko namang, kaya yung COVID na sinasabi yung iba na depressed, whatever, o hindi po yan nangyari sa akin. Kasi kahit wala pang COVID, hindi talaga ako pumupunta sa mga mall ever since. No? Kasi pagdating sa mall, nahihilo ako. Yung layo-layo na lalakarin mo, tapos napakakulob. Hindi ko type yun. So yung ganito lang talaga ang gusto ko. Basa-basa, then lecture. Gano'n na lang. Minsan, kahit isa lang yung participants ko, nagle-lecture ako. Ano? So siguro, kunin mo yung suggestion ni Ma'am Mary Grace. Kasi tayo kasi, hindi natin nakikita yung sarili natin eh. Yung ibang tao nakakakita, kaya we have to follow their suggestions. No, thank you for that.
And your hobbies like gardening, cooking.
Okay. Sa mga ka-YouTubers po natin, please subscribe also to our featured channel. No? Marami na ding laman yung urban gardening natin. At saka yung tinututukan namin ngayon yung values formation. Kasi for your information, I was once a values formation trainer po ng BAR for 17 years. Kaya ang mga experiences ko na natutunan din po doon, yun ibinahagi ko sa values formation tutorial. No, nandyan. At actually marami pa kaming i-upload na mga videos eh. Nagtatawanan nga kami. Kaso lang, may webinar kami, so hindi kaya. So, but nandiyan na shoot na namin, konting edit na lang, at saka yung music, no, na gagawin natin, and then pwede na pong i-upload. Makikita na ninyo. So sa mga ka-YouTubers po natin, please subscribe to our featured channel. Nandiyan lang naman po yan sa baba ng channel natin. Para makita nyo rin yung mga pinaghirapan namin that aside from taxation, meron pa tayong ibang matutunan. Especially yung personal natin na buhay. Kasi itong taxation, technical ito eh. Tax to eh. Although, napaka-importante din ito kasi magiging tax liabilities natin, malaki yung mawawala sa assets natin pag binabayaan natin yung tax. Pero, meron pa rin tayong other side ng as a person. Kaya, yun naman yung pinifeature namin doon sa Values Formation Tutorial, no? Mga aral ng buhay na papupulutan din natin. Meron tayong mga spoken poetry, tsaka masaya po siya, pero may twist at saka may lessons to learn, no? Yung mga, you have to learn about relationships, about paano mo pakisamahan yung biyenan, about yung mga nangyayari na personal sa buhay mo, no? How to do about it. Yun naman ay pinag-isipan din natin at sa experience na rin siguro at saka sa mga learnings natin during the values formation. Kasi sa dami po na na-reach out natin na tao, iba-iba yung mga experiences na sinishare nila na na-learn din po natin. No? Kaya sinishare natin sa inyo. Okay? So thank you, Ma'am Mary Grace.
Bago rin po siya, si Sir Ariel San Pedro.
Si Ariel, shout out, palagi yan.
Palagi po
Na, siguro,
Di lang siya madalas
dito lang
mag-chat.
ngayon, pero
Yes, ma'am.
palagi ko siyang sinasagot sa comment section, no? So, thank you, Sir Ariel, na dito ka din sa ating live streaming.
Hindi na siya madalas mag-chat. Puro nanonood yung sa videos na.
Yes, sa online, pero palagi siya doon sa comment portion, no? Sinasagot ko siya eh. Okay? So, shout out, Sir Ariel. Tuloy tayo sa ating related parties kasi ayoko yung mabulagha kayo pagdating ng transfer pricing audit. You have to prepare, ha? At saka yung mga interesado sa transfer pricing, kailan marunong na kayong gumawa ng transfer pricing analysis report. No? Kasi siguradong yan ang hahanapin sa inyo ng examiner once they will conduct the transfer pricing audit. Okay. Okay. Ito pa, yung tinitingnan ng examiner during transfer pricing audit. Yung taxpayer suffered losses over several years. No? Kasi nakapagtataka, bakit kung babalikan natin yung mga history ng transfer pricing cases na nangyari sa world, the most controversial case is that of GlaxoSmithKline. Ano nangyari doon? Bakit yung Canadian Revenue Agency sinubject niya ng ilang years na audit yung GlaxoSmithKline? Kasi nakita niya na losses for how many years. Pero the product is selling, no? Yung mabenta yung product. So, mabenta yung product. Bakit lose ang company? No? So, sinabi sa transfer pricing audit. And that's the biggest na transfer pricing case in the world. No? Yung findings is 3.1 billion. Okay. So, yun ang mga titingnan ng examiner. No? Then, may mga stages ng meetings, stages ng mga documentation, no? Gathering of information from the taxpayer at saka from the third parties. No? Okay. So, paano ini-implement yung audit ng transfer pricing? No? Kasi may mga steps po tayo. So, kung alamin natin yung steps para pwede nating sabayan or alam natin anong gagawin pagka conduct na ng transfer pricing audit sa company natin. No? So, determination of the characteristic of the taxpayer's business. No? So, ano ba ang klase ang business ng taxpayer? Or anong klaseng industry? So, ano ba yan? Retailer, service, logistics, manufacturing, or anong klase ang characteristic ng taxpayer's business? Okay. And then, identify the characteristics of the related transactions of the taxpayer. Kasi pag ako nag-audit, saan ko ba nakikita o saan ko tinitingnan yung related party transactions? Number one, dun sa financial statement, on the notes to financial statements, disclosures, no? Sa financial statements. Bakit? Kasi mandatory requirements po yan for the preparer of the financial statements to disclose the related party transactions. Ano yung mga related party transactions na dapat i-disclose? Yung transaction with a group or the related parties. May matrix po na nire-require dyan, pati yung mga amount, the nature, and then kanino ka ba nakipag-transact with the related parties. No? So when you identify the characteristics of related party transactions, no? So ano yung factors that should be considered, no? Letter A, conditions that influence the industry. So meaning ito yung economic conditions, no? What are the economic conditions that influence the industry? Okay? Under that, you have to discover the industry and the market segment where the taxpayer carries on business. No? Example na yung growth ng industry, the technology, size, and growth of the market that will affect the operation of the company. No? Kaya yung economic condition is a very important factor in the analysis ng company, no? Sa transfer pricing audit. And another condition that should be considered is the competitive condition of the taxpayer and its competitor. No? Siya ba yung leading o napakaliit lang nung market share niya in the market? Next is economic factors and existing regulation that influence the taxpayer's business. So kasi kung halimbawa yung nature ng business niya such that it is regulated o kaya yung ibang product niya binan pa ng gobyerno, then may effect po yan sa company, no? Sa business or sa industry. And then the conditions of the related transactions. Ano ba yung mga related transactions? The type and value of related transactions. Type and value of related transactions. The period and frequency rate of the related transactions. No? The terms of the agreement, including the set of arrangement between the related parties. No? So, ano ba yung ginawa nila na mga related party transactions? Terms of contract, including terms of delivery and also the discount. Nandun lahat yan sa contract. No? Pagka tinignan natin. So you have to see all the provisions of the contract. And titingnan natin, ito yung mga sinasabi ko sa mga nag-aaral ng transfer pricing, na kung magkaroon kayo ng analysis of the contractual agreement, see to it na bawat provisions, titingnan nyo if there are possible transfer pricing issues. Paano mo masabi na possible transfer pricing issues? Try to see to it that the provisions na nandun sa contract ay arm's length. No? Kasi pagka may provisions doon na hindi arm's length, then that will trigger a transfer pricing issue and adjustment later on. Okay. Question? Okay. So, ito pa, ano pang titingnan? No? The parties involved in the related transaction as well as the relation between the parties, for example, parent-subsidiary relationship, joint venture, franchise, cost contribution arrangement, and others. So, titingnan din po yan. Although na-discuss natin yan noon yung mga cost contribution arrangement noon, yung mga management fees, no, yung mga cost sharing, and then the chain of transaction in which the taxpayers affiliated transactions become part. Ano yung mga chain of transactions? Yung mga connected na transactions, no, chain of transactions between the related parties, nakasama yung taxpayer. Okay. Functional role of the taxpayer in the group. Ano ba yung functional role niya? Ano ba yung ginagawa niya sa grupo, no? Structure of the taxpayer's organization in its group, including the decision-making process. No? Kasi kung controlled ka, yung decision-making wala sa'yo yan. Na kanino? Doon sa company that controls the other company. No? Kaya nga tinitingnan dito yung decision-making process. No? May decision ka ba o impose lang lahat ang ginagawa mo? So, ibig sabihin, in that case, you are just doing service to your parent company. No? Kasi hindi ka naman pwede mag-decide para sa iyo. No? So, you are not doing a business, you are doing service to your parent company. Shareholding structure of the taxpayer in the group. Siyempre, yung shareholding mo, kung halimbawa, 80% or 99% owned ka by the parent company. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Talagang super controlled ka lang. No? And then the strategies, policies, as well as targets of the taxpayer. No? So, sinong gumagawa niyan? No? Functions performed by each member of the group, the supply chain management, and restructuring of taxpayers' business. So, lahat po yan titingnan ng examiner during the transfer pricing audit. Why? Because these are transactions or events that will trigger related party transactions. And pag sinabi na natin na related party transactions, titingnan naman ang next step kung arm's length siya, because pag hindi siya arm's length ay anong ginagawa? Kakaroon ng adjustment. At pag nagkaroon na ng adjustment, ano mang effect noon sa income, babayaran mo as deficiency taxes. So, ganun lang po sa transfer pricing audit. May mga nakolekta na ba sa transfer pricing audit na findings? Yes, meron na po. No? Ang una talaga na tinrain po ng BIR on the transfer pricing audit are the large taxpayers. But it is already cascaded to the district. No? Yung mga district na maraming related party transactions, tinitrain na rin po sila to apply this transfer pricing audit in their audit work. Okay. So, ano itong mga ratio naman? No? Usapan natin itong mga ratios na gagamitin nila. Okay. Financial ratios, anong silbi ng mga financial ratios in the transfer pricing? At saka bakit importante itong mga financial ratios na to? Why? Kasi sa financial ratio, makikita mo na kaagad kung ano yung structure, kung ano yung nangyayari sa isang kumpanya, no? So, what are the financial ratios na useful for the transfer pricing audit? No? Sa yung number 1 is the gross margin to sales. Ano yun? Gross profit over sale. So, sa sa transfer pricing methods natin, sino gumagamit nitong gross profit margin? Yung resale price method at saka yung cost plus method. Ano yung kino-compare nila? The gross margin. No? Another is the gross profit to basic sale price ratio. Paano naman yan kino-compute? The gross markup, no, equals gross profit over the basic sale price. O para malaman mo kung magkano yung gross profit to basic sale price. No? Rate of return of sale ratio. Alam mo, pag nag-audit ako, talagang hinahanap ko yung gross markup. Mas gusto ko sana kung available yung per item. No? Kaso lang, mahirap lalo na pagka maraming item ang company. Maganda sana yung kung isang product lang. No? So, makikita mo yung gross markup niya per unit. And then we have rate of return of sales ratio. Ano yung rate of return? Net operating income over sale. Dali lang, makating lalamunan. Okay. So, rate of return of sale ratio is net operating income over sale. Oh, ano yung net operating income? Ito yung sales, less cost of sales, less operating expenses equals the operating income. So, ano yun? Saan ginagamit naman yun? Yung rate of return of sale ratio. Siyempre, halimbawa, yung income mo, ganito lang siya kaliit. Tapos yung sales mo, ang laki-laki. So, makikita ngayon dyan yung percentage. No? So, bakit ganito kalaki ng sales mo? Billion-billion, tapos ito lang yung net income mo. Parang hindi siya reasonable, no? For the asset or for the capital na ginamit mo, tapos ito lang yung return mo. Ito lang yung kinita mo, no? Rate of return of assets or the ROA ratio is net operating income over total operating assets, no? May effect din po yan sa working capital, especially na halimbawa, loss ka ng loss, tapos ang dami mong pera nandyan lang sa assets. Yung assets mo hindi nagagamit. No? So, merong adjustment po dyan sa transfer pricing. Because transfer pricing is economic taxation. Oh? So, anong tinitingnan ng transfer pricing? Your economic activity. Okay? And ano pa? The economic substance of your transactions. Kasi pagka ang transaction mo has no economic substance, then for transfer pricing audit purposes, it can be disallowed. Okay? Alam nyo sa YouTube ko, yung paningin ko na lang palaging nasa camera. No? Ang mata mo, camera, parang yung kausap mo, camera na. But ano to ito na yung bago kaya sanay lang, no? Pero mas less nga ang tense or yung stress pagka ang kausap mo camera. Okay. Kaso lang, nakakapanibago lang kasi nasanay ako na pag lecture ako, I look at the eyes of my participant, nakikipag-eyes to eyes ako, no? Ngayon, eyes ng camera yung pinag-eyes to eyes ko. Okay. So, okay lang. So, alam ko naman na yung mga YouTubers natin nandyan. Alam nyo ba, bakit ko yan na discover nung second na nag-seminar kami ng live sa free bookkeeping. And then, nung ni-review ko na, pahit-pahit ang performance ko, pero sobrang dami nung mga nanonood pala. And then, may mga questions sila doon na hindi nasagot kasi hindi ka nakakapag-interact. Hindi ko kasi nakikita. No, hindi ko rin nakita yung focus ako sa pagle-lecture. Kaya sorry na lang po. No? Kasi yung mga ganyan na mga questions, after mo pa yan mabalikan eh. No? So, hindi live. Hindi yung nandyan sa harap mo, na-actionan mo kaagad. But, ang gusto ko lang dito sa sa YouTube or sa online, walang interruption. Kasi sometimes, alam nyo, sa face-to-face, sobrang, lalo na pag maraming makulit, hindi ka makatapos ng lecture mo kasi question ng question. So dito, walang mga ngalabit sa'yo eh. Kasi dire-diretso lang, sa camera ka nakikipag-usap. Kaya, may advantage pa rin sa online. No? At saka, sanayan lang din. No? Kaya yung mga YouTubers natin dyan, alam ko nandyan kayo. So, please stay at tuloy lang yung aral natin. Ha? Okay. Walang question?
Wala pa po.
Okay. So, yung rate of return of assets natin o ROA ratio, ito yung net operating income over total operating assets. Ano po yung significance nito? Yun yung sabi ko nga sa inyo na nagkaroon dito ng adjustment sa working capital kasi why is it na napakalaki ng pera mo nandyan sa assets? Nakatago lang sa assets. Kasi kung yung pera na yan, ginamit mo, pinambili mo ng inventory, then nagkaroon ka pa ng volume discount. Kung pinanggamit mo yan na pinautang mo yan sa customer mo, then nakapag-earn ka pa ng interest. No? So, ang dami mong pwedeng gawin na alternative para ma-increase mo yung income mo. Bakit doon mo siya nilagay sa assets? No? Kaya yun ang gustong makita dito sa ROA. No? Ito yung net operating income over total operating assets. No? Another ratio which is very useful also when you are conducting transfer pricing audit is the rate of outcome of capital employed ratio. So ano to? Net operating income over current assets minus liabilities. Assets minus liabilities equals equity, no? So yung net operating income over equity. So ito yung capital employed. Magkano ba yung kinita ng capital mo? No? Kasi kung wise ka na investor, ang tinitingnan mo dyan ang kita. Bakit itong company mo walang kita? Magmulang establish, walang kita. So, questionable. Bearer ratio. What is bearer ratio? This is a favorite po sa transfer pricing. No? Bearer ratio is gross profit over operating cost. No? So, magkano ba yung operating expenses mo over the gross profit? So, halimbawa na lang yung operating cost mo is 1 million. Yung gross profit mo is 1.1 million. So, anong mangyayari dyan? 0.1 na lang yung sobra mo. No? So, papayag ka ba pagka ganon? Proper ba yung costing ng company mo kung ganon ang kalalabasan ng mga ratios mo? Siyempre, hindi. Pag ikaw yung management, that is very alarming. No? So, bakit ka pumayag? For how many years? Ganyan yung mga ratios mo. Okay lang sa management. No? So, yung mga ratios na hindi ka panipaniwala. And then, debt to capital ratio. Debts over capital. Yung mga utang. No? Okay. May mga na-audit ako na company na talagang sadyang nilakihan ang mga utang. Bakit? In order to claim interest expense. no? Pero ako dinisalaw ko, bakit? Kasi based on the analysis, hindi kailangan mangutang, merong enough cash, no? Bakit pala nangutang? Kasi may pinapagawa na capital assets, no? Nagpapagawa ng mall, so nangutang, and then karga lahat sa operation ang interest expense. That should not be. Why? Kasi in that case, dapat kinapitalize mo yung pagpapagawa ng mall, and then yung interest na, ako, dinisalaw ko talaga yung interest eh. Bakit? Kasi walang need na mangutang, no? Ang company. Why? Kasi ano siya, may mall na siya, yung rental income niya coming from the mall, ang laki na, tapos yung kanyang supermarket, yun na lang naman ang niraran niya, and then the others, rental income na. So, bakit kailangan pa niya mangutang? No? So, hindi dapat. And then I found out na talagang nagpapagawa pala ng mall, kaya utang dito, utang doon ng from the banks. No? So, hindi kailangan kasi capital expenditure yun. Huh? Hindi pwedeng isama mo sa operating expenses. And then another is the research and development cost to sale ratio. No? Research and development cost over sale. So, bakit ka nag-i-invest sa research and development cost? Kasi may dinidevelop ka na product. Bakit yung research and development i-claim mo lahat sa operation? Hindi naman yan related sa operation dahil may ginagawa kang bagong product. So, in that case, disallow. Disallowed talaga yan. Marketing cost to sale ratio. No? Marketing cost over sale. Kasi baka sobrang laki naman ng marketing cost mo na diyan ka nalugi. Okay. So, anong gagawin during the transfer pricing audit? Make a functional analysis. No? Paano ba ginagawa yung functional analysis? No? Ano ba yung functions ng company? Okay. So, perform to obtain accurate identification on the characteristic of the taxpayer's business as well as of their counterparts. So, itong functions, ito yung sinasabi natin na functions ng company. Ano ba yung ginagawa niya? So, okay. Ano yung function? Example ng functions, distributor. No? Okay. Dito nakalagay, ano ba yung sources, no, ng information na dapat pinag-aralan po ng examiner, no? Okay. So, kasi diyan siya makakakita ng explanation dun sa mga hinahanap niya sa transfer pricing analysis. Ito, documentation requirements din ito. Kaya, bakit ito ni-require? Kasi kailangan during the transfer pricing audit. So, ano yon? Organizational chart of the taxpayer under audit and the structural chart of the group. So, ano yung chart na yun? Doon makikita yung relationship as to the reporting, as to the link between the related parties. No? Halimbawa, yung subsidiary dito sa Pilipinas, saan siya naka-direct na connect? So, ibig sabihin, doon siya nagre-report. At yung direct connection na niya, yan din ang posible na nagko-control sa kanya, posible na nag-i-impose sa kanya, o nag-approve ng mga policies niya. So, posible na ganon. Although, it can be disputed pagdating na talaga sa actual na functional analysis, pag may mga dokumento na. List of employees, job description, and the authorities of the employees involved in the economically relevant functions. Kasi pag gumagawa po ako ng transfer pricing analysis, especially pag services ang function ng companies, tinitingnan ko yung job functions, specifications ng employee. Why? Kasi yung job functions ng employee, yan yung services din ng company. No? Kaya pag nakita mo yung job specification, then madali mo na lang din ma-relate at makita yung functions ng company. No? Audited financial statements. Of course, napakarami mo makita sa audited financial statements. Why? Because audited financial statements follow the standard requirements. Ano yung standard requirements? From the accounting viewpoint, accounting standards, it has to follow. No? the recognition, measurement of the assets, no? So kasama doon. And then the segmented financial statements, no? Segmented both by function and by independence of transactions. Ano yung segmented na financial statements? So, iba-ibang klase ito. Pwede siyang segmented by product, or segmented by brands, or segmented by the group, no? So, depende sa requirement and depende sa structure ng company. Global Pricing Policy Document. Ano tong Global Pricing Policy Document? Saan ito manggagaling? Siyempre sa parent company. Wala yan sa subsidiary or dito sa Pilipinas. No? At ang experience ko dito, usually hindi nagbibigay. No? Especially the parent company, hindi magbibigay. Pero pag BAR yung nag-request, talaga magbibigay sila kasi that is part of the document required for audit. Licensing contracts for intangible assets to recognize the parties that own intangible assets and identify payments or receipt of royalty to and from related parties. Alam niyo, napaka-crucial itong intangibles. No? Example of intangibles are the development of software. No? Kasi sa cost sharing, halimbawa, joint sila na dinevelop yung software. No? Yung parent company at saka ang subsidiary. And then nag-contribute sila ng service, nag-contribute ng amount in order to develop that intangible. Ang tanong, pag natapos na, successful na yung intangible, naka-develop na ng software, kanino napunta yung ownership? No? Baka itsapwera na lang itong tumulong na subsidiary. No? Kaya ang sabi sa cost sharing, kung magkano yung share mo sa cost, ganun din yung share mo sa benefits. Kasi pagka, halimbawa, nakishare ka lang dun sa effort, sa cost, and then pagdating sa benefits, nandun lang sa parent company, then, hindi po yan arm's length. No? Sisingilin dapat sa share mo doon sa cost sharing na yan. No? And then, tanong pa dito sa licensing contract, no? Identify payment, receipt, of royalty to and from related parties. No? Since kumita na yung dinevelop ninyong software, kanino ba napunta yung income? O baka kasama ka lang dun sa trabaho, pagdating sa income, hindi nakasama yung subsidiary. No? So, hahanapin yan, sisingilin. Kailangan mapunta sa entity yung income na para sa kanya. Why? Because for tax purposes. No? Sa structure ng multinational companies, meron silang treasury. Kaya meron silang treasury na manual, no? How they disperse their money. So, hindi naman yan pinapakialaman ng transfer pricing. Kasi, kahit saan mapunta yung pera ng group of companies, ang ina-after lang ng transfer pricing, bakit nag-audit dito, is that the proper taxes should be paid here in the Philippines. No? Hindi yung mapunta o ibayad doon sa ibang bansa. Dapat dito, kasi meron siyang operation dito sa Pilipinas at saka dito yung mga tao na tumutulong for the business. No? So, kailan may share din ang Pilipinas doon sa taxes, doon sa income na kinikita ng company at saka yun ang income na yan, yun ang magiging taxable base mo for the payment of taxes. So, kung mataas yan, mataas din yung taxes na babayaran dito sa Pilipinas. Okay. Question? Okay. So, shout out. Okay, shout out sa mga YouTubers natin ulit ha. Thank you sa pag-subscribe, no? Okay. Ano yan yung with subject membership?
Yung nagtanong ma'am kanina, nireplyan ko kung anong gagawin niya ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Okay, ano pa yung focus ng examiner during the analysis? Identify the significant material economically relevant function performed by the taxpayer. No? Halimbawa, design, processing, assembly, research and development, sale and distribution, purchase, provision of services, marketing, promotion, transportation, financing, management, and other related activities. No? So, significant yan or material na functions. No? And then, identify the significant function performed based on the following. Ano yun? Transfer pricing documentation and for analysis form, tax payers financial statement, organizational chart. So, doon mo yan makikita yung functions. And then, prepare questionnaire needed for interviews with key personnel that are involved in significant functions. So, may mga questionnaires po yan na answerable by yes or no, pero based on the answer, ma-analyze mo na parang nag-audit ka na rin. No? Doon pa lang sa yes or no. So, that will be part of the transfer pricing audit, yung questionnaires, sa yung answers ng mga respondents. Okay. Ano pa? Conduct a review and analysis of accounting data, interviews, plant tours, and site visitation. Napaka-importante po ng plant tours and site visitation. Yung ibang taxpayer, ayaw papayag na pupuntahan sila. No? Sila na yung nagre-request na wag na lang silang puntahan. Pero para sa akin, napaka-importante talaga yung site visits na parang puntahan mo, actual, may ocular inspection ka on the taxpayers' premises so that makita mo ang masa-size up mo. No, ano makikita mo? Ang dami mo makita pagka nagpunta ka talaga sa site ng taxpayers. Why? Halimbawa na lang, ito, nakalagay sa financial statements niya, yung sale niya is halimbawa 1 million. Pero, halimbawa, transportation siya or delivery. 1 million yung income niya throughout the year, no? Sa one taxable year. Pero pag pinuntahan mo sa premises niya, 100 yung truck niya. So, tama ba yun? No? So, ang dami mong makikita. Masasize up mo na kaagad. Ay, anong ginagawa nito mga truck na to? Maintenance pa lang, registration pa lang, kung hindi to kumikita. No? Okay. Work with taxpayer to identify key personnel for interviews or site tours. No? Kasi hindi ka pwede mag-site tour na wala kang permit sa management. Hindi ka papasukin. No? Kahit anong gagawin mo, hindi ka papasukin. No? Ibaban ka. Okay. Work with taxpayer to identify plan and site for tours. No? So, kailangan talaga yung management, alam nila, and then sila yung mag-arrange for you. No? Work with core members to prepare for interviews and tours. Dapat may kasama ka. No? Yung examiner may kasama yan pag pumupunta. Consider and evaluate for foreign travel, especially if located sa ibang bansa yung related parties. No? So, kailangan may foreign travel. No? Pero with technology naman ngayon, pwede ka na hindi mag-travel. Bakit? Use the technology. Ano yun? Request and then, halimbawa, wala kang, mag-plan tour ka through the internet, mag-google ka. Kasi nakaka-actual site visit ka naman through Google. No? Sa dami ng camera. Okay. So, ano pa pong tinitingnan? The revenue officers need to prepare minutes of provision of information in connection with information relevant to the FAR analysis. No? So, may mga form po na i-fill up, may mga request na dapat sagutin po ng taxpayer. During the interview, confirm the functions, contribution, participation performed by related parties regarding the related transactions. No? Also, transactions with related parties that function as intermediaries in product, sale, purchase transaction. The revenue officer need to do research on the organizational chart kasi kung hindi nila ibibigay, no, yung examiner na yung ang maghahanap. Number and qualification of personnel, financial statements of the related parties in order to confirm that these related parties have functions in the taxpayers' related party transactions. No? Actually, sa totoong buhay, ang dali lang po mag-gather ng documentation. Ma-size up mo na kaagad ang company. No? Kagaya sa mga outsourcing services natin, mga BPOs natin. hiring thousands of employees. So masa-isa muna kaagad gaano kalaki yung operation ng parent company. Why? Kasi halimbawa, dito pa lang sa Pilipinas, 2,000 na yung employees niya, 3,000, 5,000 sa outsourcing. So you can just imagine kung gaano kalaki yung parent company na siniservisyuhan ng subsidiary dito sa Pilipinas. Okay. Ito pa na dapat tingnan din ng examiner, the transactions of transfer of intangible assets. No? Kaya nga ito yung sabi ko na so many cases that reaches the court because of this valuation ng intangible assets, especially kung ita-transfer na siya. No? The revenue officer need to confirm the qualifications, economic, legal ownership of the party that received the transfer of the intangible. No? Actually, for your information, ito yung contribution ko during the World Conference of WIPO sa Shanghai, China. Ano po yung naging contributions ko doon? Nung second day na po ng plenary. Ito yung sabi ko sa panelist na people go to court for justice. So why is it na sa mga na nangyayari ngayon, the legal owner, kawawa, the beneficial owner, ang nagpapayaman. No? Sometimes, sino yung ginagawang legal owner? Empleyado. Pero sino yung beneficial owner? The employer. So, sinong kawawa? The empleyado. No? Especially kung yung mga patent, mga inventions, pinangalan lang sa kanya, pero hindi naman siya binabayaran ng royalties. No? So, sabi ko, dapat, as a beneficial owner at saka legal owners, dapat fair lang. Kung kumita naman yung beneficial owner, then kikita din ang legal owner. Kaya nga yung ending ko doon is the beneficial owner gets everything, the legal owner gets nothing. No? And I'm very happy na makikita ko ngayon sa mga international policies, meron na talagang specific na treatment for the legal owner and for the beneficial owner. No? Kahit sa corporations ngayon, may mga disclosures na about legal ownership and the beneficial ownership. No? Yun lang yung makakapag-contribute ka ng kunting idea mo in the world, they are very receptive po. No? At saka binibigyan nila kagad, they are very happy na nakakapag-contribute ka ng ideas. No? Kasi ang ginagawa nila, especially yung mga nag-gather ng mga conventions, they are collecting ideas. No? Kaya tuwang-tuwa sila if ever nakapag-contribute ka ng ideas sa kanila. And they really do something about it, especially kung may merit din yung contribution mo. No? So, ito na. Transaction or provision of intra-group services. No? So, dapat daw ang examiner confirm the qualification, beneficial of the party that delivers the intra-group services. No? So, ito na yung intra-group services cost contribution agreement. No? So, paano niya gagawin yun? Study the organizational chart, the number and qualification of the personnel who provide the services, especially sa management fee na charge ng parent. No? May case dyan na nangyari. Ano yung nangyari? Ang laki ng management fee na charge ng parent company to the related party here in the Philippines. No? In one case, no, hindi na to sa Pilipinas, in one case, anong nangyari? Kinwestiyon ng isang tax authority yung charges ng management fee. Ang tanong, kailangan ba yan ang management service ng company na napakasimple lang naman ang kanyang operation? So bakit siya magbabayad ng milyon-milyon na management fee? At pangalawang tanong, sino yung nag-provide ng management service at sino yung tumanggap dito sa related party ng company? Why? Ang tanong na sino? Kasi nung tiningnan, ang head office, tatatlo lang yung empleyado. No? Yung lang presidente, yung sekretarya, at saka isa pa. So, who will provide that kind of technical services? Mga expert na wala naman silang capacity doon to render that kind of services. And yet, nagcha-charge sila ng management fee ng pagkalaki-laki. No? Yan ang contention. Kaya yun, hindi nanalo sa korte ang taxpayer. Okay. Ano pa? Identify, confirm the type of assets used by the taxpayer, including land, building, machinery, use of valuable intangible assets, financial assets, and nature of the assets that are used, including useful life, market, value, location, legal protection available for the intangible assets. Alam mo, ito yung nakakatawa kasi nagre-review ako ng mga docket for transfer pricing. Alam nyo, may isang manufacturing company. Na nung tinanong ko, wala siyang inventory ng raw materials. Kaya yung nireview ko sa inyo na inventories, that is a very, very good source of findings pagdating po sa audit. No? Si manufacturing company siya. Sabi ko, ano yung component ng cost mo? Direct labor lang at saka factory overhead. Sabi ko, violation to ng accounting standards. Paano ka nagma-manufacture? Anong manufacture mo? Hangin? So, anong product magagawa mo doon? No? Ang sabi niya, mga damit. No? So, yun lang yung una, wala siyang raw materials. Pangalawa, wala din siyang machineries and equipments. So, anong ginagawa mo na naman? Nakakapaggawa ka ng mga garments, tapos wala kang makina, wala kang panay. Ano na naman sabi niya? The machineries owned by the parent company. Wala na. Talagang, sabi ko, wala to. Talagang sham transaction ang ginagawa. No? So, you have to disallow that in that case. No? Anong gagawin mo doon? So, you adjust the transactions. So, titingnan mo. Kaya pagka ganyan na parang ang nagpapatakbo dito sa Pilipinas sa subsidiary, the parent company din, profit split. No? Split mo na yung profit. Hindi na pwede yung mga transfer pricing methods na gamitin mo na iba. Why? Kasi wala ka na tagal lang makita na operation dito sa Pilipinas. Lahat ng papatakbo, parent company na lang. So, how will you determine? Gagawin mo doon, nandoon lahat naka-account. Wala kang makitang raw materials, wala kang makitang raw machineries. So, saan mo makita lahat yun? Nandun sa parent company. Saan mo makita yung profit na sa parent company? So, anong gagawin mo para magka-profit dito sa Pilipinas? You split the profit. Anong variables mo? Variables mo ngayon kung ano yung contribution ng Pilipinas dito, no? Ng company dito sa Pilipinas. No? Pwedeng number of employees, pwedeng depende na lang. Kaya nga kailangan mong pumunta talaga, pag ikaw yung examiner, pupunta ka talaga sa actual para makita mo. No? Pag ikaw naman yung taxpayer, no, on the side naman of the taxpayer, dapat ready ka with your documentation para kahit ano yung hingin sa inyo na i-request ng examiner na bibigay nyo. And isa pa, yung documentation requirements ng 2017 na OECD Transfer Pricing Guidelines, ano yun? You must have a master file, no? Master file for all the groups, and then you must have a local file. Yung halimbawa, dito ka lang sa Pilipinas, you must maintain also local file for transfer pricing purposes, and another is the country-by-country reporting. So pagka kompleto ka niyan, napakadali, napakabilis ng transfer pricing analysis na magagawa. No? Which I think also during the examination, during the audit, hahanapin din yun ng examiner. No? Wala pang question? Okay.
Makikinig po sila sa
Ilan yung ating YouTubers?
10, 11.
Okay. Sige.
Makikinig po sila.
Sige. Naiintindihan ba? Baka ako lang yung kwento ng kwento. Okay. Pero alam nyo, napakasaya ng transfer pricing sa totoo lang. Because the first time ko na nag-aral ng transfer pricing, noong 2008, alam nyo, yung parang na-appreciate ko siya kaagad. No? Appreciate ko siya kaagad, especially na may mga economic reasons, at then nakita ko may logic, at sabi ko, talagang nag-iisip ang mga gumagawa dito, mga matatalino. Kasi pero kung naisip nila itong mga ganitong scheme, no? Tatalino. Okay. Okay, so ano tong consideration daw in identifying the use or existence of intangible assets. No? Ito yung, the company obtains a higher profitability level than the average for similar industries. Oh, competitive advantage. No? Anong tawag doon sa intangible? Competitive advantage. Kaya nga, nire-relate ko yan sa tao eh. Ano yun? Pag ang tao may intangibles, ano ibig sabihin ng intangibles? Meron siyang characteristic na unique sa sarili niya. Intangible din yan sa tao. No? That makes him unique and that makes him or her competitive. No? Kasi, halimbawa, siguro isa ng competitive advantage ng isang tao, gwapo siya, maganda siya. No? Competitive advantage na yan. Matalino, another competitive advantage, intangible din yan. Another is, halimbawa, mabait, no? Pero ayoko ng sobrang bait. Kasi, ano na yun, abusuhin. Ayoko ng mabait. Yung mabait na tama lang. No? Kasi wag sobra. Hindi na intangible yun. Ano na, hindi na maganda pagka sobrang bait. No? So, sa company, ganun din. Pag mayroon na siyang intangibles, no, at ikaw ang examiner, halimbawa, ina-analyze mo, bakit siya may competitive advantage with the other in the industry? Bakit siya profitable? No? So, yun ang hanapin mo. It might be na maganda yung kanyang product. No? Kaya sellable, talagang effective yung product niya. It might be na wala siyang competitor, siya lang nag-iisa sa market. Oh, that can be competitive advantage. O kaya maganda yung post-service niya. No? Kung halimbawa nasira yung product niya, meron na kaagad na replacement. No? So, yung maganda yung post-service. Okay. The existence of intangible asset is not determined by whether or not the intangible assets are recorded in the balance sheet. Usually po, ang intangibles, hindi naka-report yan sa balance sheet. Ano yung nangyayari dyan? Hindi nire-recognize, hindi mini-measure, wala lang, wala sa balance sheet. No? So, paano mo siya ngayon i-audit? Sa actual ka na tumingin. No? Kasi wala kang makita sa financial statement. Okay. Mga example na to eh, no? We will study also what are the manufacturing intangibles, no? Ano yung mga manufacturing intangibles? Ito yung process, no? Ito yung mga secret recipes, no? Manufacturing intangibles ang tawag diyan. Bakit? Kasi tumutulong sila paano i-process, mapa-improve yung product at mapaganda. So yung tawag doon manufacturing intangibles, no? Okay. Paano mo daw siya titingnan ng examiners, no? Based on a service contract in its own name or that of one or more members of the company or group. So you have to see to it kung may service contract ba sa manufacturing, no? And then based on the agreement whether the members involved in the joint activity will be the economic owner of the manufacturing intangible. So, sino yung may-ari niyan? No? Okay. So, perform research on contracts such as licensing contracts or sale contract for the intangible assets. Yung software po, hindi yan nabibenta, no? Ano lang, pag bumili ka, ano lang ang bibigay sa inyo? License to use, no? Hindi mo yan, hindi ikaw ang magiging may-ari pag bumili ka. Kasi ang binili mo is only right to use, no? Hindi yung ownership. Okay? So in that case, sino ba yung nagla-license ng contract? License to use. Sino ba nagbibigay? Sino nagtatanggap ng bayad? No? Review the FAR analysis table relating to manufacturing functions, intangible assets used that has been filled in by the taxpayer. No? Check the taxpayer organizational chart regarding manufacturing functions, key personnel, job description of the key personnel. So, kailangan lahat yun. Conduct site visit and interview with factory managers and manufacturing engineers. So, I tell you, talagang ako enjoy ako pagka pumupunta ako sa site. No? would you believe na pati yung mga, ito yung mga quarry dito sa isang district na na-assign ako dati. Talagang tuwang-tuwa ako kasi maakyat kami sa mga kabundukan, no? Sa mga ilog, nadudoon yung kinukuha yung mga quarries na yan. No? Kasi kailangan mong pumunta para mas naintindihan mo yung functions o yung ginagawa ng taxpayer. No? Identify existence of unique production equipment or modification made to the production equipment that boost quality or reduces production cost. No? Meron tayong isang sikat na beauty consultant, no? Ang mamahal ng singil. Ano yun? Diyan siya kumita ng malaki, nag-i-invest siya sa equipment, no? Mga beauty equipment, na siya lang mayroon dito sa Pilipinas. So, siya lang yung sumikat at saka make a lot of money because of that. Kaya sa manufacturing, tingnan nyo rin kung ano yung production equipment na meron. At ito pala yung nag-boost ng quality ng production, no? Identify changes in factory design that reduce production cost or increase in output. Kasi ang tama talaga na pamamaraan sa isang kumpanya, talagang you want to reduce cost and then boost production. Kasi pagka ni-reduce mo yung cost and then nilakihan mo yung production, of course, lalaki din yung kita mo. Kasi ang cost o production mo, maliit lang. So pag binenta mo, the same selling price, mas mataas yung tubo. Okay. So, obtain list of patent and conduct interviews and research and development personnel. Nasaan po yung list of patents na halimbawa registered sa ang company? Sa IPO or sa Intellectual Property Office po. Nando doon. Ano yung naka-record doon? Pati yung licensing, pati yung bintahan o yung assignment po ng patent nandun. Kasi lahat dapat naka-record. Kaya, intangibles are also registrable property. Saan po sila pinaparegister? Sa IPO or sa Intellectual Property Office. Kaso lang sa atin, parang hindi pa naka-record yung bintahan ng intangibles, no? Although, sa mga experience ko, yung binibenta yung franchise, bawa malaki na yung negosyo. Tapos, bigla na lang ibenta. No? So, anong binibenta dun? Kasama yung name, kaya may goodwill. Those are intangibles. Conduct interviews with research and development personnel to determine company's level of success in the market. No? Sa bagay, yung level of success in the market, makikita mo din naman yan sa history ng, anong tawag dito? History ng company. No? Kita mo yan. Unang tingin mo pa lang, yung articles of incorporation niya, kailan ba nag-umpisa? Oh, and then kung how many years na siya, and then ito na yung nangyari sa kanya, makikita mo yun sa financial statements kung gaining na ba siya, at saka dun sa mga assets din na na-acquire niya. Oh? Okay. Shout out?
Ma'am, may question ma'am si Ma'am Mary Grace Randro.
Okay.
Sabi niya po, are there legal ways in transfer pricing po?
Legal ways?
Yes, ma'am. Yun ang tanong niya. Are there legal ways in transfer pricing?
Siguro yung in general na may legal ways, yes, there is. Kasi nakakarating sa korte yung mga transfer pricing cases eh. Pero yung sabi mo na legal ways sa transfer pricing, yes, especially if ang test lang naman doon na kailangan yung lahat ng transactions mo is arm's length. Kasi ang in between legal ways at saka yung tinatawag natin na economic substance, dapat economic substance po ang tinitingnan sa transfer pricing. Why? Because transfer pricing is economic taxation. Kaya kung titingnan mo, kung yung sinasabi mo na legal ways, yes, there is. Kasi doon sa comparability factors natin, di ba, meron doon na contractual terms. So, ano yung mga legal ways doon? So that when you have contracts, yung provision mo ng contract should also conform to the arm's length principle. And what is the arm's length principle? Ito yung transaction of the related party should be similar to the transaction of independent party. So, yun po yung sinasabi natin na pwede. At saka dapat yung contract, yung provisions ng contract, ganun din arm's length din po ang tawag. No? So, yung mga sabi natin na legal ways, sa transfer pricing? Yes, basta hindi lang siya magre-result doon sa fraudulent na transactions. No? Kasi kung tama yung pricing mo at competitive siya or comparative siya with the independent party, then we can say that that is legal. Hindi ka ma-adjust. And then arm's length yung transaction mo or yung pricing mo. Okay?
Ayun pala ma'am, legal ways to lessen tax related to transfer pricing.
Okay, so legal ways to lessen taxes. Yung isa na ginagawa ng what we call this, ng group, no? Halimbawa, isa na example. Halimbawa, mag-designate siya ng IP company, no? Itong intellectual property niya, halimbawa, trade name or business name. Ipangalan niya ngayon dito sa bagong company na established niya. And then doon niya ilagay sa country na mababa ang tax, no? So halimbawa, punta siya doon sa isang tax haven countries, the tax there ng corporate is 5%, no? So ngayon, itong mga companies nandito sa Pilipinas, doon na magre-remit doon sa company na yon na nandun sa country na mababa yung price. So halimbawa, magbabayad sila ngayon ng royalties for the use of software, for the use of business name. Million-million yun kasi mahal ang intangibles. Doon na i-remit yun sa maliit na country. So, magkano yung matipid nila ngayon? Malaki kasi doon sa income na ma-receive nung company na doon sa tax haven country, maliit na yung tax na babayaran. And since yung binayad nila doon, ni-remit nila, payment of royalties, that can be claimed as an expense dito sa Pilipinas, magkano yung benefits nila? Kasi expenses siya, 30%, no? Ang matipid nila ngayon. Samantalang ang natipid nila dito sa Pilipinas, 30%, ang binayad nila doon sa ibang country, 5% lang, so may tubo sila na 25%. In terms of millions or billions of pesos, the 25% is already a material amount. So, yun yung legal way po. Hindi mo naman ma-question yun kasi legal naman yun at wala namang illegal doon. So, wala magawa yung tax authority doon. Okay. So that is an example of transfer pricing na legal. Okay. What time na?
9:46 mo.
Okay. So yung ating question and answer, not only transfer pricing, we entertain also other questions, no? Tsaka yung isa pa pala yung pagdating na sa audit, yung ating documentations, yung ating checklist, no? So be careful at saka yung ating mga report sa withholding, report natin sa VAT, summary list of sales and purchases ng VAT, no? So be very careful. Related po lahat yan sa inventory, yung mga purchases natin, yung summary list of sales and purchases natin, related po lahat yan sa inventory. No? Kasi minsan, ang dami mong input na VAT na kiniklaim. Nasaan yun? No? Hindi naman siya related sa inventory, hindi related sa mga purchases mo. So, maka-question ka. Okay. So, yung next natin is the selection of transfer pricing method. So, what kind of industry na magpi-fit sa transfer pricing method? No? Kasi sinabi din namin yan sa OECD. At anong sabi ng OECD? We cannot make a matrix or recommendation of the best transfer pricing method for every industry because its transfer pricing case is treated as unique. No? So, we rely on the circumstances of the case. So, hindi pwede po na i-impose mo na ito talaga ang dapat, no? na transfer pricing methods. No? Sa selection ng transfer pricing methods, identify available comparables. Why? Kasi di ba sa transfer pricing, we compare independent party transactions with the related party transactions. So kung wala kang comparables, you have nothing to compare. So anong gagawin mo ngayon sa transfer pricing analysis mo kung wala kang comparables? So, okay. So the important thing in choosing transfer pricing method is availability of reliable independent comparables. Kasi if the industry is very unique, wala kang makitang comparables. Nag-iisa lang siya. No? The purpose of this is to ensure availability and reliability of independent comparables to be applied. Comparables to be identified can be in the form of prices, data, for example, market prices for commodities, no? Data on margin of gross profit or data on margin of the net profit. Comparables used to test transaction of the taxpayers with the related parties can be grouped into internal comparable and external comparables. Alam nyo kung ano yung pinaka matindi na comparables, the internal comparables, no? Yung transaction within the company, no? So, yun ang mabigat na comparables. Okay. Internal comparables. So, what are internal comparables? Obtained with the tested party or itong company na sinasubject natin for transfer pricing analysis engages in sale transaction or purchases of goods and services with unrelated parties and licensing of intangible property to unrelated parties. No? Also, imposition of interest rates, interest payment on loans to unrelated parties. Okay. So, yan ang internal comparables within the company. No? Ensure that internal comparables are independent transactions performed in the normal course of business. No? Okay. Ano yung comparables na requirement natin? Sufficient and verifiable information. Pag gumamit ka daw ng comparables, dapat yung information na ginamit mo doon are sufficient and verifiable information. Pag sinabi mo sufficient, ano ibig sabihin? Hindi bitin, no? Kumpleto. Pag sinabi mo namang verifiable information, you can verify, you can check with the third-party information na tama or totoo talaga yung information. No? Kasi kung hindi siya sufficient, hindi rin verifiable, then it ceases to be your comparables. Okay. External comparable. What are external comparables? Used to test the arm's length nature of related party transactions. Okay. So, anong mga sources nito ng external comparables? Market price of commodity products or price of similar goods or service traded by unrelated parties, no? Okay, ano to mga example? Ito mga mahal to na sample, no? Gold, silver, crude palm. Itong crude palm at saka yung palm oil, saan to marami? Sa Malaysia, no? Pag nakita mo, ang dami-dami nilang tanim na palm, no? Ano yun? Pag namunga na yun, meron silang palm oil factory, no? Na kino-convert or minamanufacture yung mga bunga ng palm tree nila into palm oil at yun ang ini-export nila. Just imagine, no? Gaganda ng kanilang mga tanim na palm tree, no? Ang nakakatakot lang doon kasi pagka pinuputol na yung mga dahon, halimbawa, matanda na, no? Kasi tataas yan. So, pinuputol yung mga dahon. May maiwan na parang trunk doon sa ng dahon. Tinitirhan ng mga cobra, no? Yun yung interview namin yung workers doon. Na sabi nila, yung mga cobra daw doon nakatira doon sa parang trunk na napag-iwanan ng mga dahon. Doon nakatira yung mga cobra sa palm tree, no? Alam niyo yung cobra napaka yung nakakamatay ang venom, no? Pero yung mga magagaling na talaga, hindi na natatakot sa cobra kasi madali lang nila. Wala na, nilalaro na nga lang nila, no? Hindi na sila natatakot. Yung cobra na yung takot sa kanila, no? Pero yung hindi marunong, makakita lang ng cobra, takbo na ng takbo, no? Okay. So, what are external comparables? No? So, yung sample is paano mo masabi yung external comparable mo. Pagdating sa interest rate, ito yung interbank offered rate, no? Pag dito sa Pilipinas, ito yung rate ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Sa UK, sa Europe, ito yung sinasabi nila na LIBOR or the uh, interbank offered rate ng Europe, no? Okay. Philippine Securities and Exchange Commission. Ito yung database. So doon tayo. Kaso lang ngayon, ang mahal ng information. Dati, pwede kang mag-download, pwede kang tumingin lang. Ngayon, magkano na, Hari? Sus ko, ang mahal na mag-gather ngayon ng information sa SEC. No? Dati, magkano lang pagka pwede kang mag-print online. No? Ewan ko. Ngayon? Oh, yung viewing piso. So, ang ginagawa namin, hanap na muna kami ng comparable na pwede, view lang muna. Pagka nakita namin na obra na, saka lang namin piniprint. Eh ngayon, magkano na? Wala na viewing.
Wala na lang. Kukunin mo na talaga. Wala na yung system nila.
So,
order na lang sa through courier.
O-order ka tapos bayaran mo. Yun yung tag 500 bawat isa.
Depende pa yun sa kapal mo.
So, dapat pala pag may analysis ka, taasan mo na rin yung singil mo. Kasi sa comparable pa lang, halimbawa meron kang 200 na comparables, mag-start ka doon. Hindi, magkano yun? 200 times 500, million na. Oh. Doon pa lang sa data gathering pa lang yun, ha? So, mahal na rin magpagawa ng transfer pricing analysis. Okay? Choose the transfer pricing method that is most appropriate to the facts and condition. Kaya sabi natin, walang matrix ang transfer pricing methods, but circumstances of the case, yun ang dapat mag-determine. So you have to study and apply the transfer pricing method. Sa Pilipinas, ano yung sinabi dun sa transfer pricing guidelines natin? Apply all the methods and then select the best method. So yun ang tinatawag sa atin na best method rule. Okay. Application of the arm's length principle. What is the arm's length principle? Yun yung independent party transaction should be comparable with the related party transactions. Or the other way around, the related party transaction should be comparable with the independent party transactions. Applying all the factors na dapat pareho sila, no? Similar sa nature, characteristics, no? How to perform the comparability analysis. So, ano na to? Okay? So, any question po? No? So, sa mga YouTubers natin, wala kayong question sa transfer pricing? No? Try to learn more. Ito yung ginawa ko nung first time ako nag-learn ng transfer pricing. No, saan ako nag-study? Sa internet, no? At if you want to study more, basahin niyo yung transfer pricing guidelines, yung 2017 na transfer pricing guidelines ng OECD, available po siya online, and also the 2017 United Nations transfer pricing guidelines also available online. Halos pareho lang sila. Yung principle na ginagamit is the same, the arm's length principle. Oh, so you can understand better. At saka ang daming cases na sample. So kung mahirapan kayo sa theory, kasi mahirap siya intindihin, pagdating sa sample, mga case studies, madali siya maintindihan because there is an application pagdating na sa cases. So kung hindi pa kayo satisfied, hindi nyo pa rin maintindihan, ako talaga na-enjoy ko yung transfer pricing by reading the cases. No? May case ako na binasa na siguro mga 2,000 pages. No? Basahin mo yun. Yung deliberation hanggang sa counter evidence, ang tagal, nag-drag sa court, but ma-enjoy mo kasi makikita mo talaga paano pinoprocess, paano nagka-counter, paano deliberation ng transfer pricing cases hanggang sa nagkaroon ng decision yung court. No? So, Mas mahasa kayo pag nagbasa kayo ng cases. Okay? Anong oras na?
9:58.
Oh, magte-10 o'clock na pala, no? Last 2 minutes, kaya shout out na lang po tayo sa ating mga YouTubers, no? Thank you very much ulit na umabot na tayo ng 3,640 plus na subscriber, no? So nakakatuwa din kasi nakakatulong tayo and then may mga audience tayo. So ibig sabihin lang na kasupport din po kayo sa amin. And thank you very much. Yung mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe sa atin, please subscribe to our channel. At tuloy-tuloy lang po kami, no, sa online streaming namin every Tuesday and Thursday. And then magkakaroon na kami ng mga webinar, no, yung online through Zoom, no? Na-appreciate ko na na-feel ko na yung webinar, no? So tuloy-tuloy na po to at saka yung gagawin po natin doon sa mga gustong mag-member sa atin sa PSTRI natin or Philippine School of Taxation and Research, doon na kayo magkakaroon ng mga discount pagdating na po sa paid natin na seminar, no? Kasi yun ang yung offer namin sa inyo. And of course, yung mga availability ng ating mga facilities, just like our library. We have international library. No, may mga books po tayo dyan coming from other countries na pwede kayong mag-research, no, kung ano yung kailangan nyo. And we have tax jurisprudence since 1901. No? Masaya pa nga yung mga cases noon na mga simple lang. 1901 na cases up to now, no, na gumagawa tayo ng index ng mga cases. So, meron kayong reference, no, kung gusto nyo. Nakakatulong, especially kung meron kayong mga gustong i-resolve na cases. No? So, pwede po kayong mag-avail ng ating mga services na ganun. Okay? So, wala nang question. So, shout out. Sino yung mga YouTubers natin ngayon na nandyan?
Si Ma'am Mary Grace Randra,
Sige.
Sir Ariel San Pedro,
Okay.
si Sir Lon, kanina ma'am,
Okay.
nanonood pa rin siya ngayon, hindi na siya nag-chat ma'am. Tapos, si Ma'am Rhea Soriano,
Okay.
si Sir Joe Maren de la Paz, si Ma'am
Okay. Always yan.
Amy Abelencia, Josepino Relien, yung bago natin ma'am.
Okay.
Tapos, yun ma'am.
Okay. So, thank you very much dun sa mga YouTubers natin, dun sa ating mga, anong tawag sa kanila? Subscriber? Followers pala. Followers po yung tawag sa kanila, no?
Sila ma'am yung active sa chat natin.
Okay.
Yan sa name na babasa natin.
Sige. So thank you very much po sa ating mga followers, no? And hope na nakadala po kami sa inyo ng mga information and we promise to bring you more information. Kaya tuloy-tuloy lang po yung ating online streaming every Tuesday and every Thursday. So, pagdating naman po dun sa mga pre-recorded na video, yung suggestion ni Ma'am Mary Grace na yung computerized accounting system, hopefully, ma-shoot na namin yan next week and then ma-upload na din namin next week so that available na po yung video na yan. No? Kasi actually nale-lecture namin yan kaya madali na lang para sa amin meron na kami mga slides. No? Yung paano mag-apply ng permit to adopt computerized accounting system. Okay, so with that, thank you very much. At saka yung mga gusto pang mag-member sa atin, send lang po kayo ng queries, padala namin kayo ng registration form, and then meron na kayong mga benefits as a member. Okay? So yun lang po yung services natin na pwede nating ibigay. So with that, thank you very much and let's call it a night. No? Thank you.